Hey guys, how are you? Dr. C here at Aloha Orthodontics. So I've been asked a few times to set up videos for how to take care of your orthodontic appliances. So we're going to go through them today. And one thing I want to mention at the very beginning, if I don't say things exactly the way I'd like, what I may do is voice over this. So if you watch the video and suddenly my lips, they don't move with whatever I'm saying, it's because I did a voiceover. Okay, here we go. So when you get your braces, you will get an Aloha guide on everything you need to know about braces. So we're going to go through this sheet one by one, okay? First stop, so discomfort with braces. When you first get braces on, most of you will be getting the cool metal ones where you can change colors. It's pretty sweet. So these are pretty slim and they actually get glued on just like stickers. So it's a very straightforward process. How we normally adjust is just having them on for a few days and getting used to them. So some things that happen when you first get braces on, you will get a little bit of discomfort when the teeth start to move. Just like when you're running around a lot and your legs get sore, it's the same thing for your teeth. So the teeth are moving, they're getting a little sore. So that's very normal. One other thing about the braces is the wires and the brace can get caught on your cheeks. It can sometimes cut up your cheeks and your lips, and this is very common. So it sucks, but the good news is once your body heals, it actually heals a little stronger and it doesn't hurt as much, and your body eventually starts getting used to it to where it does not get cut up. So you're okay, don't worry, all right? So that's the first part of the braces. Let me make sure I did not miss anything here. Yep, everything I just said. So what you can and cannot eat with braces. So when you look at the braces, the way they're glued on, the glue is pretty strong, but it's not so strong that you can't eat whatever you want and not break the braces. So the biggest motivation for why you want to eat certain foods and why you want to avoid certain foods is some foods can break braces. Sometimes it can bend the wire, it can cut your cheeks, it can also set you back in your braces treatment. You like braces now, but I'm pretty sure if you had it on for 5 to 10 years, you're not going to like them anymore. Okay, so let's go over a couple of things on what you can do to avoid breaking your brackets. Generally, anything that's sticky, hard, chewy, gooey, you don't want to eat. So classic examples of some of these things are my jar here, and when you finish your braces you get one of these. So don't worry, it's coming. So we'll go through this and kind of go over a couple of things that you can't eat, just so you know. Laffy Taffy, not a good idea. Crunch bars, not a good idea. The good news is with chocolate, if you want to eat a soft chocolate, eat it slowly, you will be okay. So with that, I will say certain foods like meats, they're chewy, but it would be a crime to not eat meat. So you can eat meat, just cut it into smaller pieces and chew very slowly and you'll be okay. Just don't bite directly onto a piece of fried chicken. You know, don't bite directly into a rib on the bone, but you can cut the meat from the bone, eat slowly, and you'll be fine. Another example of something that you shouldn't eat is chewing gum. So definitely chewing gum is not a good idea with braces. What can happen is the gum can get stuck to the brace and start breaking off the bracket. Another thing is it sometimes gets stuck to the brace. You don't notice it, it gets hard and it starts trapping a lot of bacteria. It's disgusting, causes bad breath. Suddenly, if your friends stop hanging out with you and your girlfriend or your boyfriend breaks up with you, you did this to yourself, okay? Let's see what else I got here. So nothing hard, sticky, chewy, and that includes hard candy, chips, popcorn. If you like popcorn, there are puffs that you can have. So like Pirate's Booty, Cheetos, cheese puffs, you can eat those and they taste just the same, so that's a good idea. And I don't know if they sell this at the movie theater, but if you find a way to get it when you're watching the movie, that might be a good idea. Jerky, not a good idea. Ice, not a good idea. I don't mind you, if you really have, you know, you're into that stuff, you can get the ice chips and let it sit on your tongue. I don't think that's really that fun anymore, so then you might not just want to avoid it. Let's see, pizza crust, not a good idea. You can eat the pizza in small bites. If you really want the crust, you can cut it into small pieces and eat it in small bites. That's as far as we can go with that. Corn on the cob, you have to cut the corn to eat it. Bubblegum, we've been there. Gummy candy, again, you can't eat it, but they have lots of, oh, you know what? You can have juice that tastes like the gummy candies in whatever flavor you want. If you want to mix them up and get weird with it, go for it, okay? Let's see. Taffies, can't do that. Caramels, can't do that. So, biggest thing to know about eating with braces, chew really slowly and you won't break anything, okay? Slowly. Alright, next page. So this sheet kind of has a lot of things that you need to know about it, so take a close-up of the problem foods here. Next up, oral hygiene. Oral hygiene is brushing and flossing with braces. So, we'll take out my brace again here. So, with braces on brushing, you definitely want to brush. I love the idea of a soft bristle toothbrush. If you get a chance to get Colgate Slim Soft online, it's called Colgate Slim Soft. S-L-I-M, not me, Slim Soft. Okay? So, Slim Soft toothbrush, you want to go, and let's close up on this one. You want to go above and below the braces on the top jaw and the bottom jaw when you're brushing. So you want to brush above the brace, below the brace, above the brace, and below the brace. And that's just the top jaw. Then you get into the bottom jaw, so you open a little bit, and then you go above the brace and below the brace. And that's basically how you want to brush. Above, below, you can listen to whatever brushing song that people recommend that you listen to. Happy birthday, how many ever times it was. But above and below the brace for each jaw is what you want to do. Soft toothbrush, you don't want a lot of pressure. You literally want to put just a little bit of pressure. Do not go to war with your gums because that can cause recession, bone loss, gum loss, and then you suddenly will have sensitivity issues. And you can sometimes even brush so hard that you wear away your tooth enamel. So most orthodontists will give you a pretty cool kit that you can use. Some of them come with a travel toothbrush, and these are kind of neat because you can just leave them in your pocket, because if you leave them long, it just looks weird in your pocket, like weird at your friends. But this is another option when you're on the go to brush. You don't have to do the birthday song 15 times a day when you're eating. If brushing after every meal is impossible for you, then you can at least brush floss every morning and night, and then in the middle for any meals that you have during the day, just rinse vigorously with water. You can even brush, you don't need toothpaste, just brush to get the food out of the braces really quickly, rinse, and then let's go on about our lives, okay? Next up is flossing. This is definitely one of the sucky parts about taking care of your braces. I understand. I used to hate flossing just like you, so we're friends. I got a couple of tips for you guys here, okay? The first easiest thing to do when it comes to flossing, if you can do this, it's going to definitely change your flossing game, is get a water flosser. So, best way to get a water flosser, you can look up on our website, or you can just go directly to Amazon.com or one of the online shopping places and look up water flosser. Waterpik is a common brand, but look up all the reviews and buy it with whatever colors you like, whichever one is the most portable and easiest for you, you'll be fine. So water flosser definitely makes flossing a lot easier. It's basically a water gun fight for your teeth with a small water gun. You just position it in between each tooth and the water bursts out, and then you basically go in between each tooth, between the braces, and it knocks all the food out in between. And you can go above, below, and in your mouth. It takes a little bit of practice to get used to it. Don't worry about the mess that you'll make the first couple of days. Definitely worth it. So number one thing, water flosser is huge. There's a few things in your kit that will have some tools to make flossing easier. First one is a floss threader. These are pretty cool because you can basically tie a piece of floss to this threader and you can thread your way between the teeth. So this is a little bit more time intensive, but it's a very cheap way to make things work. So you get a piece of floss and you tie it right there, and all you do with the braces is you weave it through underneath the wire and you just pull it and you can floss right underneath there. And once you floss underneath there, you just weave it on over, and it's kind of like sewing. It's actually pretty relaxing. I'm lying, man, it's pretty boring. But it gets the job done. And remember, good hygiene also means no bad breath. Your friends will like you. Your girlfriend and boyfriend will not break up with you. Okay? So that's the floss threader. There are flossing tools made specifically for braces also that make this a lot easier. This one is a cool tool. So these portable floss sticks are awesome. So the one thing to know about the floss stick is there are two different types. One for braces and one that are not braces friendly. So the ones that are not braces friendly, they do not have this thin side right here. If they're both thick like this, that means it's not braces friendly. An easier version is to look on the bag for it to say braces friendly, okay? So the thin side is where you go in and you use the floss on the thin side underneath the wire, and then you go in just like that and you pull it out. And it's super, super awesome. This definitely is a little faster than the floss threader, but underneath the brace, you go in and break the contact and go back. So again, underneath one more time here, and then you feel the contact. You want to go underneath the contact and you pull it back out. And it's an awesome way to keep the bacteria out from in between your teeth. So in between the teeth is where most of the cavities can occur, and the reason is, I'll put this down real quick. In between the teeth, when you brush, when you rinse, when you're talking, when you're drinking water, a lot of the food can come off the front surface, but in between the teeth, if they're touching, it's a lot harder for your brush to get there, and the food in between, the bacteria can easily stay in between there, and it's easier for them to cause cavities. So that's the reason why you want to make sure you're flossing. So water pick, floss threaders, or the floss sticks, all great options. And one other tool, if you know flossing is just not an option during the day, every morning and night it should be done, but during the day, if it's tough, we have these little mini brushes also, and these you can use just to go in between to get the food out at least as much as reasonably possible. Don't jam this through the teeth because that can cause gum problems, but just in between, just like that, to get any food in between the braces, and rinse vigorously after, and that's a cool trick to use. Alright, the next step is how to use wax when you first have some discomfort with braces. We talked about this in the beginning. Sometimes it definitely can be, an adjustment phase getting used to braces. The braces, the wires can sometimes stick to your lips and your cheek, and they can cut your cheeks and your lips in the beginning. So it's not uncommon to get ulcers. If you get anything like that, definitely you can call us and we can walk you through it. But a few things to do, to help with that. They do have some rinses that are, friendly for sores to make them feel better. You can also use wax so the gums don't get further irritated with the braces and the wires. And so one thing that you can use is some wax here, and it comes in a little kit. Generally it comes in boxes, and you can buy this online as well. Just got to learn how to use this. There we go. Cool. So you get this little wax box here, and there's a little bit of wax. You can buy this at CVS stores even, but if you come to the ortho office, you can usually get some from your orthodontist. But you just take a small piece, and all you have to do is roll it into a little ball. So just like that. And wherever it's bothering you in your teeth, you can just put a small piece over that area. One trick to remember is to make sure that it doesn't have a lot of saliva in that area. Use a tissue paper, paper towel, or toilet paper to dry that area first, and make sure there's no liquid on that side, and move your head away from the side where the saliva will pool. So if it's on the left side of your mouth, you want to move your head to the right, dry that area a little bit, just dab it dry with some paper tissue or paper towel, and then you put a small piece of wax right over the brace. So we'll close up for this one, and you just take a small piece of wax and you put it right over, and you basically push it down into all areas around that bracket. Now that will kind of give it a smooth surface that doesn't irritate the gum in that area, and definitely will make you feel a lot better. Alright? So we'll leave this here. And while we're on this topic, I do want to mention the cutting of the lips, the cheeks is common, so do not freak out. You're okay. The best thing to do is actually let the body heal. The body is very resilient, so if you let that area heal, it will become tougher, and as you get adjusted to the braces, you won't have that issue as much, okay? So don't stress out too much, you'll be fine. And during that time, it's probably not the best thing to eat certain foods that can irritate it. So super acidic foods, you know, anything that has a lot of spice, that's probably not the best time to do any hot sauce dares, alright? Ooh, it just hit my step stool. Next up is going to be broken brackets, bands, appliances, or wires. So if anything is broken, you know, with respect to the brace, if the brace actually pops off, that definitely can sometimes be a problem. And if it pops off and it stays exactly where it is and it's not bothering you, congratulations, you do not have an emergency on your hands. That means you can continue going on about your day. Give us a call and then schedule an appointment to come in to get that addressed. Depending on when in the treatment this happens, it may or may not be urgent. In the early stages of your treatment, it usually is not a problem as long as it's not cutting your cheeks and gums and causing excessive pain because of the broken bracket. Outside of that, if it's near the end of treatment and you have power chains with our little brace chains that hug all of your teeth together, when you have power chains with a broken bracket, that is an emergency, because what can happen is your braces, if each of these are teeth and one of them is broken, if you have a power chain, what happens is the teeth can actually get blocked out and drift back because of the force of the power chain. In that situation, that is an emergency, and you should come in relatively soon. It won't happen over hours, but it can happen over days to weeks, so don't wait a long time on that. Sometimes you can take a picture of it, send it to your orthodontist, and they can guide you through this, all right? And if you're out of town, out of country, and you start seeing this happen, one thing you can do is definitely see if you can go to a dentist locally to help you with this, or a local orthodontist would be ideal for him or her to at least remove the power chain and the wire. All right, so next up, broken appliances. So if you have an expander, a space maintainer, and something breaks off, generally what can happen is you can have an appliance and it's usually connected by 2 or more bands, one on either side of the molar, and that appliance can sometimes fall off or one side could come out. If only one side comes out, if you can carefully put it back in to fit into that molar and maintain it in that position, someone might need to help you with this. You can do that until you can comfortably come in. If it's completely out of your mouth, then you can leave it in a box and give us a call. Bring the appliance with you, because if it fits, then we can re-cement it for you and you'll be fine. If one side is broken and you cannot get it back where you need to go, that definitely is an emergency, and we want you to call or text us so we can walk you through it. What you can do in the meantime is don't get too aggressive with your foods. Cut down to super soft foods. Maybe even a protein shake if eating is uncomfortable, and until you can come in, that would be the ideal way to go. All right? So next we have, generally with any emergencies, one thing that you can always do in the time of internet advancement, anytime something happens, take out your phone and type in how to handle orthodontic emergency for broken brackets, for pokey wires, for lost appliances or broken appliances, and that's a really cool way. They have so much material online, and I'm sure there's guys and girls out there that look a lot prettier than me that can instruct you on how to handle this as well. But that's the whole point of the video, so hopefully these videos help. But that's one thing you can do. Go online and see if you can find anything comparable. If it's easy and it makes sense and you're comfortable doing it, then definitely you're welcome to handle the emergencies in a very, conservative way. Don't do anything that's too advanced and anything that you're not comfortable with. And definitely you can always call your orthodontist or text us or Facebook us, and we can walk you through it. All right? So the last stop is sports and braces. Definitely, if you run into somebody with these when you're playing football or basketball, or you get an elbow to your face, even if your brother doesn't like you that much and suddenly decides to wake you up in a very, with a slap to the face when you're sleeping, whatever it is, definitely with braces, it's going to stick to the lips or cheek. It's going to get caught on it, and that can cause a lot of trauma. Braces-friendly mouth guard is 100% a fantastic idea when you're wearing braces. And most orthodontists will have, some samples to give you, and that's definitely one option. Another option is they have a lot of cool custom-made braces-friendly mouth guards online. This is one company that I thought was cool, the Shock Doctor, and these are made for braces, and this is really cool because it actually is a very soft jelly kind of mouth guard, and you can get this online. I'm sure you can find this at the stores as well, but how you put this on is you literally can wear your braces and have this go right over the actual brace. And this initially sounds complicated, but it gets really, really easy to use, and it looks just like that. It's super cool and comfortable, so that's a very, very, important thing to remember. So when you're playing sports, anything that's intense, this is a good idea. So if you're playing football, you should wear this. If you're playing football on like your Xbox, you don't have to wear this, okay? And I think with that, we may have wrapped up everything you need to know about braces. I'm sure with time, there is going to be, things that come up, unique scenarios, when that kind of thing comes up, like I said, the best thing to do is always try contacting your orthodontist first. If you can't get a hold of him or her, you can go online and use one of the cool YouTube videos and see if you can do something on a conservative basis. Don't do anything that you are not comfortable with. Don't do anything that could potentially hurt you. I just realized while we're on this topic, pokey wires, if they're all the way in the back, you can definitely use the wax trick the same way by pushing the wire wherever it pokes you and then putting the wax against it. The other option is you can take a clean toenail clipper, like a brand new one. Don't use one that your brother just cut his big fat toenail with, but a brand new clean one, and you can angle it against the wire and you can clip it. This is something that usually you will need the assistance of a friend, mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, but someone that you would trust to do that. Most of your kits will come with a little mirror, so your friend or parent can hold against the cheek to kind of get access to the area. It's got a cool little mirror if they need to see back there, but generally when you have that kind of situation, you can use the toenail clipper, angle it to cut it. When you're into heavier wires, that's pretty difficult to do. So the next best situation is to make sure you're not eating aggressively in that side and see if you can just gently bend the wire back to where it's not poking you. Okay? So now I am done with everything about braces. You guys are going to have an awesome brace experience, and like I said, any emergencies, call us, text us, Facebook us, or go on YouTube. We are done with the braces part of this video.